ourselves until one.
Lord Francis. Father Francis.
Bàbá ọkọ̀ Lindsay. Ẹ̀kan fi ògbọ̀n harass gbogbo Nàìjíríà.
Mo dẹ̀ ti Ọlọ́run ló yẹ. Mo ti wá ṣe mistake mi ò rí ni o.
I thought we started.
Yes.
Address. Let me send
you
the certificate to you.
All right, Francis, over to you, sir.
Over to me. I didn't send it.
You are moderating on in the spirit of stampede, just to moderate this session.
No, I'm a king. I'm a king. I have to settle in.
Kalevaji. Okay, King Francis, can you moderate this session so that we can start? Have you read the play to start with? Have you read the play? Francis, have you read the play? I can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself.
Hello, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, whichever. Okay, so please, can we just signify how many of us have gone through the short play? I have, but only this morning.
I have two. Also only this morning, but I don't think that matters.
It doesn't matter at all. How many people have read it? How many other people have read it? Sonia, have you? You haven't. Oh, okay.
I have read it.
Okay.
I think it's something we can all get in. It's a very simple story, and we can catch on.
Dr. Kole, have you read? Professor, have you read it?
I am reading it.
Francis,
I've read the first 10 pages, and I am.
Oh, okay. So
yes, I have a sense of what it's about.
Okay, that means how many of us are read it? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 4 out of 7, and the author 8.
Sorry, who is the author?
You said
Bimbo Manuel.
Bimbo Manuel.
Well, it's not written there. It didn't say the author. It just said dedicated to all
Vincents and Millicents.
Vincents and Millicents.
I could have written my name at the end of the whole play and say written by lookman Sanusi because there's no credit there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Leke, I take it that you want to moderate then so that we can kick off since Francis.
That's if you are not ready. Me, I'm not a doctor, so you know.
You don't have to be a doctor. I want question Professor Colin Cobb, so please just go ahead.
Professor, no, you go ahead. Let me learn from the master.
All right. Okay, fine. I mean, I'm always equal to any task given to me. I have read the play, and I must say a big kudos to the author, Bimbo Manuel. He's a fantastic writer. Anyway, I've been privileged to be at the reading of some of his plays. I know there is one is Alaji, and I was also stampeded to read some characters which I really enjoyed, and it's been staged. So I must commend the writer. It's very, very good piece of drama. Anyway, I take it that, since only about 4 or 5 of us have read it, It's a play you can easily catch on because it treats a very simple theme of love, you know. And why I say we cannot catch up is that I'm sure all of us here have fallen in and out of love before, and some of us are still in, you know, in deep love, you know, whether with ourselves or with a female and our profession. But love is love is a very strong theme that the author has dealt with here. Even though in a very rustic sense, in the sense that it's a love between a man and a woman, also a love between a mother and a son. All right. And then there is also the issue of the lost love between a product of rape and the father, you know. So, but first of all, I want to say that since Leke, since you have read this play, which has no title, by the way, I didn't see any title there. I just saw it's dedicated to Millicent and Vincent. What is your
If I
take?
may, sir. If I may, sorry, sir. Moderator.
Yes, sir.
It does have a title.
It is called
Lethabo, a simple love story.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see that on the file that was sent to me. So I'm sorry if I missed that. But again, like I said, I want to start with Leke because Leke has, you know, no. They say ladies first after men. I observed that there is one Auntie Tosin here with us, who said she's also read the script. Tosin, please, does any of the character resonate with some of your love experience? You may take the floor. Tosin. If Tosin is there, can you please unmute yourself?
Kindly permit me to react to this later. I'm in the middle of something here. I'm multitasking, please.
Okay, fine. All
Thank
right.
you.
So, Leke, I have allowed the lady to go first, and we've heard from the lady. She's deferred comment till later. So, Leke, would you just want to throw the first jab? Does
All
this
right.
relate to any experience of love that you have?
Okay. So first, my general reaction to the play. Like I said, I read it. Okay, so the author had sent it to me, I think last week, but for some reason I just couldn't. I promised I was going to go through it, but I did not. I couldn't. But this morning, when I woke up and saw it on the platform, I went through it, and I would say, other than turning from left to right on my bed, I couldn't put down my phone until I finished it. The story has a magnetic feel to it. Once you start, you can't stop. So I kept wanting to know more, wanting to know more. The 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 device of using a narrator, even though I have a kind of feeling about using narrators, but in this case, the narrator played a part which is not obtrusive. You won't think he's intruding into. I don't know how the author did it, or I don't know why it has that effect on me. But in this case, I did not feel intruded upon by the narrator. Um, he helped the plot move forward in a seamless manner. So kudos to, so as they say, kudos to the writer. I have some. I don't know how short plays go. Uh, I know how full length plays are supposed. I know how they're supposed to be structured. I'm not so sure about how short plays are supposed to. I don't know what the rules are, how they're supposed to be structured. But my my impression, because you have said all the nice things about the play, the author. I also love the characters, easy to relate to, even though they're South Africans. You feel they are your younger sister, younger brother, you know, people you can easily relate with. I love the way the characterization was done. And like I said, the plot simple, and
Okay.
the narrator. Wait, let me just quickly round up. The narrator was very unobtrusive. However, like I said, I'm not sure what the structure of stock plays should be. But in the end, after the lead character has died, maybe not the lead character now, the support, the guy, forgotten his name now. After he died, Mandla. After
Mandla.
Mandla died, yes, and we're left with the lady
Lethabo.
Leboto,
Lethabo. Lethabo.
Lethabo,
And the
and
mother.
the mother.
Yes.
At that point, I was now wondering, so what's this story all about? It's as if we were left hanging. You know, I was, let me just talk for myself. I was looking for the happy ending,
Right. Okay.
or at least
Leke.
something to take home, you know.
All right,
It's
Leke,
as
let
if
me stop you
we
there.
all just left hanging. Okay, so
Let me stop you there. Let me stop you there
all right.
so that
Okay.
we can give others a chance to contribute. And yeah, I mean, there was an open ending there. I mean, which is a technique used by the author, which suited the play for me. But before I go any further, since we have the writer in our midst, I'd just like to, although I wouldn't want to call him at the initial stage, but for the benefit of those who haven't read the play and who are here on this platform, I'd like to call on the author,
I lost you there.
Bimbo Manuel. Can you hear me, Bimbo Manuel?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Please, I need you to just summarize this play for us so that, for the benefit of those who have read the play or those who haven't read the play at all, just let us bring them into the world of the play. Can you just, summarize by mentioning the names of the character, which are very few anyway, apart from Mandla,
Well,
Lethabo, and the mother and the narrator. Can you just quickly summarize so that I know it's a play everyone can, get in on because you treat a very simple theme of love that resonates with everybody's life. So can you just quickly do a summary of the entire short play for us, please?
all right. Okay. I need to unmute this. Okay, sorry.
Okay,
I was
sorry.
unmuting.
I was unmuting myself.
So
Lethabo,
a simple love
a
story.
simple love story,
Sorry, can you
is the title
either
of the play.
mute Bimbo? Sorry, can you either mute Leke or mute yourself so that we can have one mic? We don't have we have echo as it is now. Thank you.
Okay, if I mute myself, you won't hear me. All right. Others have muted themselves. So are you getting any howl back still?
No. It's better now.
It's better now. Okay. So Lethabo, a simple love story, is the title of the play. It is situated in an area they call Wateng in South Africa, largely around Pretoria and some villages just outside the outskirts. And it is mainly about the title character, Lethabo, a young girl of about 13 at the beginning of the play, who was already a fully formed female at that time, which was not unusual for young women. And she gets raped by a schoolmate who was just about a year or two older than her. The way the whole thing happened, she did not even know that she was pregnant already from that incident until about 1 month before delivery. Life went on normally for her. And by the way, this was inspired by a true life story that happened in the same area. I just largely changed the names and took creative license with some of the incidences. So she has this child, and her parents encourage her to go back to school, which she does. She completes school, and without anybody's help, by herself, she just steeled herself up. She was going to be a success in life, in spite of what has happened to her. So she moves on, and she goes to school, all of that. But before she leaves that, before she leaves that junior school, before she leaves that junior school, she enters into a relationship with another boy. Though tentative, their relationship grows, and she gets to meet the boy's mother. The mother sanctions the relationship, and they become very, very serious lovers. Both of them assume that after school, they're going to continue and all that. But she leaves the boy, the new boyfriend, in school and goes into the uni and all that. She progresses in life. They lose touch. In that time, the boyfriend, whose name is Mandla falls sick, very seriously sick, because he has an accident that was almost life-ending, but he survives it barely, and he becomes government property. They're the ones getting his drugs, doing everything for him, but finally he's able to move around, but he's useless otherwise. He can't work, he can't do anything, so he's living off government provision. And his sickness deteriorates. It's about this time that he and Lethabo reconnect. Lethabo has already climbed the corporate ladder. She has become a big woman in the company that she always dreamt she will work in, even as a young lady. She's become a key person in that establishment. So their social classes have become very, very far apart. She has gone far ahead. The guy is almost a vegetable and living at the low level, even lower than when they first met. So it's his mother taking care of him. They reconnect, and both of them hoped that maybe the old love will come back. You can tell from the things they're saying to each other and all those little touches and so on that maybe there is an aspiration there that they may come back together. But obviously, it is not going to work because Mandla now falls even more sick and he can't go anywhere anymore. All this while, they are hiding the sickness from Lethabo. They don't want her to know, because he insists that they must not tell Lethabo. Even when he's on his deathbed, going down with cancer complication from his other illnesses and so on, he insisted that they should not ever tell Lethabo. But Lethabo finds out, and she comes, so she stays with him until the very last hours of his life. She providing support all the way and so on. And he finally dies and they go their different ways, of course, because Lethabo, happy or sad, goes back to her corporate life. In a nutshell, that's the simple love story.
Okay, thank you so much, Bros Bimbo. Thank you very much. You know, I'd said that it's a very simple story, love story that we can all connect with. And there are so many other issues. Please, can you all mute yourself? Or are there people talking at the venue? Okay. All right. So, like I said, it's a very simple story that we can all reconnect. But first thing first, um, as much as it is very simple, it touches on love, life philosophy. It touches on our expectations in life, and then the reality of life itself. Two people coming together, you know, showing love, professing love, and then life takes its course on both of them. And then the way it turns out, life also brought them together at a different time when they had lost touch, you know, with different aspirations, you know. Life cut one short while the other one, even though she has a baggage, was able to triumph over that and they made something. But they both thought they could reconnect, which they did actually. But at the end of the day, one had to submit to life. Now, I just want to bring us quickly back to the issue of life and how we connect with life. Particularly, some of us that you know have school friends. I'm sure for somebody like Bon Francis, who's got you know friends back in school, girlfriends and whatever, who you know perhaps you know thought something could develop as a result of that. Francis, how many of your friends, particularly girlfriends, are you still in contact with after school? The ones you've had a lot of maybe shared some emotions, you know, and aspiration with. You know, do you still see some of them today? Let us come home and relate to this play. Francis,
So
please, can you unmute?
why is Francis the example you want to use?
No, because we're talking about
Well,
life, and life does happen to all of us.
quite frankly, I've had a few of them, and I'm still in touch with at least three. And one or two I've had very serious emotional relationship with. One particularly we're still in very good touch. So the ones they get married, you let them go. You know, but and then again, in my secondary school, I was the governor general, I mean, all over the world, and for all my students. And then because I was also in the football team in school, that one was a bit popular. So there is usually the tendency for a lot of them to reconnect. So the point I established is that yes, it's true, and I can relate to Bimbo Manuel's Lethabo. Um, a lot of these things happen every now and then. So, but I'd like to ask the writer something.
No, before you ask the writer
Because
something, Francis, sorry, before you ask the
I
writer
don't finish my
something,
own.
I have where I'm going. That's why I just wanted us to feel the play by relating to just to relax the
Yes,
mood before we
I have
go
said
move
what
to
I
the
want
next.
to say.
Yeah, so you're able to relate, you know, with friends. Once they're married, of course,
Yes.
fine, good. You know, again, I'm sure by the time your friends, and you have your inspiration and aspiration and all that. But for instance, I have friends who said to me, "Oh, when I leave secondary school, I'm going to end up being an accountant." Some said to me, "Oh, I'm going to be, I want to go to Hajj and all of that." We can all have our dreams, but how many of us have been able to realize that dreams? This is what I brought in life. I said life happens to some of us. Some people are lucky, they're able to. Why some, because of one thing or the other, they are down. Because life is also not a race. I just wanted to establish that. And I know Professor Kole has also been itching to contribute. I'm sure you have friends, that you can borrow from their experience to say, for instance, I went to school with this person. This is where he is now. When he was in school, he was an olodo, but right now, because he's in politics, he has all the money in the world. I want to bring it down to earth to all of us before we go intellectual. Professor Colley, please, what's your...
I would have to beg your indulgence to differ a little. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there are very urgent matters that this play is raising. From the summary given, from the things that is read, the one of it is the teen pregnancy that the writer has brought to view. The other one is this whole idea of what fate deals with us. How has the writer captured the idea that someone went to school and had an accident and almost became vegetable. The other one went through, the one that had the teen pregnancy was able to pull herself up. And you would see that this also has something to do with gender. The male in it is the one that life dealt a terrible blow. The female was able to become a lawyer and walk where she wanted to be. So I was thinking, in the treatment of all of these, the different variables that are real, I quite appreciate wanting to connect it with reality. Friends we've had, friends we've lost, along the way. I'm not one of those who can tell you that I'm a very situational person. Wherever I get, I make friends and I leave them there and I move to the other place. So my life will not fit into this. But
Fine.
I would want those who have read it to also just give a person like me their understanding of the teen pregnancy and then the devastation that
what I see here
one of
is
them
that
suffered.
Professor Cole is trying to actually moderate the moderator. But you see, I have a way, hang on, Francis, hang on, sir. It's a way to just let us all in. Because these are issues that have come up. Issue of teenage pregnancy, which I'm going to discuss. Issue of expectation in life, which I'm going to discuss. Each issue of even mother accepting your friend, into the fold, which is also some of the issues that are raised. But like I said, I just wanted us to relax in it. But right, okay, fine. Let us dig into it. Let's talk about the issue of teenage pregnancy and the role that the parents of Lethabo played, actually, because I can also relate to this. I have a friend when I was in secondary school. She was the niece of our principal, and she got pregnant. You can imagine the niece of a principal getting pregnant in year in I went to form 3. Form 3. And the way it was treated, she eventually had the baby. But it was a stigma as at that time. And she didn't, I think that also cut short her education. But in this case, in the case of Lethabo, She was allowed to have the baby, and she was encouraged to further her education. I mean, I want us to discuss that because I could relate to this. Should teenage pregnancy, stop or cut short uh, uh, dreams and admirations of, I will not say victim now, of the people involved? Let us quickly discuss that. And the role of the parents. Like in the case of Lethabo, the mother said that she must have the baby while she continues her education. In Nigeria, let's bring it back home now to the Nigerian culture. Is that always the case? Do they allow them to continue education, or they take them completely out of education just to, cover their shame? I'd like to go straight to Leke, who's read the play. Leke, please.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'll come to the issue of teenage pregnancy and the role of parents. I'll come to that, but quickly, let me first start with um, the question you asked earlier, which I did not quite answer. I'll do that in a second. Okay, so this morning when I was going through the platform, I saw some of these things that Jude Aurora has been posting. And the one that struck me most was when I saw Christian. I was head over heels in love with her when I was like 13 or 14. That was my teenage crush. So that's just like me coming, like Mandla, coming to see my former crush, meeting with her at the park. That was what it was like for me this morning. So that's just to answer your earlier question about love from the past. But now coming to the teenage pregnancy issue and the role of parents. Lethabo, I think in this case, Lethabo is the real hero here, not even her parents. Allowing her to finish school is just one small part. You would see that when we were introduced to her, I think from the second scene or so, where there's a flashback to where she first met Mandla.
Yeah.
She stood apart, kept herself away from the maddening crowd as it was, or as it is, and stayed focused until Mandla's, would I say, Mandla's insistence broke through her wall. But she had that focus and determination to succeed despite her handicap or the tragedy she had earlier, which is the rape and the baby. So I think in this case, it's mainly about Lethabo herself, not even any role her parents may have played. And I'll relate the same to Mandla. So Mandla now goes through life. Life happens to him. He has this illness. Um, he is unable to he is unable to handle life as well as Lethabo. In this case, contrasting them together, I think he is not as much of a fighter as Lethabo. Mandla is not as much of a fighter as Lethabo. Even though his own mother too stood solidly behind him, trying trying to help him, overcome life and win against life. But unlike Lethabo, he seems not as firm, in his struggle with life. He's not as firm. That's what this play showed to me now. He's not as firm with life as Lethabo. And he more or less succumbs to life while Lethabo overcame life and trudges on. So that's just the contrast I'm seeing here, which I just said, okay, let me highlight.
Okay.
you?
Thank you so much. Still on the same issue of teenage pregnancy, I saw that Francis wanted to say something, but let me give other people a benefit of butting in here. Anthony, I don't know if you have anything to say at this junction, particularly when it comes to African parents and the issue of shame. A child is pregnant while in school. Also, in your response, please take in the issue of, the police or the state not being able to come into action and apprehend the perpetrator and actually deal with the perpetrator. Anthony, if you may please. Sorry, is Anthony there? Because I know
Sorry,
Anthony. Tony.
can you repeat what you wanted me to do? I was absent at some.
Okay, so I said we're discussing the play. I don't know if you fully read the play, Lethabo, the play we're discussing today. And the author has tried to summarize the play as well. I don't know if you are listening. And,
Yes, I listened to the summary and I've tried reading the play, but I couldn't get very far on it.
Okay, but did you
However,
listen to
from
the
the
summary?
conversations going on, my take will be that when you say life happens, I see that.
No. Okay, let me come again so that you get my question.
When we talk about the teenage girl
Can you hear me?
getting pregnant and still moving on with her life and having that support system, we usually get to have the contrary in some societies because of societal pressure. So people will say, okay, either you abort the baby, and I'm not a pro-life person anyway, but the motive for people saying abort the baby, get back to school, or we withdraw you out of school to give birth to the baby, usually is societal pressure. And we see that a lot in Nigeria. And even talking about this idea of, in the final analysis, trying to compare who made it in life and who didn't make it, that is very relative because it's not in our place to judge. We don't even know the ambitions of people and whether they are satisfied that they achieved it or not. So whoever has made it in their own right, we can only have metrics, but we can't say those metrics should be, objective, because it does not cover for what everybody thinks. So that she was up the corporate ladder and he was ill. Yes, it's life that happens, but that shouldn't place a yardstick as onto did he make it or not. That's usually, that would be my take on how life generally happens to people.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tony. But I also wanted you to take in your strides the culprit here and the arms of the law not doing much to apprehend, the rapists. How they just allow that to lie low. I also want you to relate it to what's happening, for instance, the Osoro incident, where the society, well, I don't know, that society, I will not say the general society, has, seen it as a regular, a norm, to rape ladies in public, in the name of tradition or culture in a festive period. I mean, I'm a Yoruba person. My culture frowns on that. You can't do that openly. But, it is now Osoro is a norm. So although the police are trying to apprehend the culprits, but how can we relate that to what's going on, what went on in the play, why the laws were not able to apprehend or do anything to the perpetrator, to the rapists? He's allowed to go free, except maybe the writer wants to correct me, but that's what I read in the play. Can we relate that to what is happening today? Did you get the question?
Okay, let me quickly jump in on this. So as to enforcement of the law, especially with issues like rape cases, right? I strongly believe, especially in our society, I mean, in some Nigerian communities, that it's it's not the police that usually covers up that kind of story. It's the community itself. So typically from the middle belt where I come, what you hear is kuri, let's just settle it us. If we take this guy to the police, he's the son of this person, and we know him. Why not let's settle it out of court? Let's just let it go, and then they just say, okay, don't try it again. So for me, in terms of enforcement of the law, it's the society and the communities that hold the highest responsibility of ensuring that people pay for their crimes, especially such a crime that is dehumanizes someone else.
Okay. So, but in this place, we have different organs of the law. We have the school. I didn't see in the play where the school actually dealt with the perpetrator of rape. And then the parents, out of shame, allowed this to go on and all of that. I didn't see that in the world of the play. Maybe that is what, the South Africans, do in their law. Maybe just like you said, Ian Kuri, they just let go and let life, go on. But in Nigeria, or in this case, or in the time when I was growing up, it's frowned upon. And especially here in the UK, the perpetrator, the rapist, enters into a black book, and there is nothing the person can do in life, that will trail you till the end of your days. So is our society still very close in terms of how you deal with people who are rapists, or is it the Yankuri axiom that we take? I'd like somebody else to butt in here. I prefer a lady, so that maybe to soften our heart a bit. So Tosin, I don't know if you are a bit relieved and you can contribute to the topic at hand, Tosin, because I see you are back online.
Good afternoon. So I didn't start from the beginning, but I read the piece. So I think that's what well, I think that these days, or in these times, we are getting to have these conversations a lot more as opposed to before, especially because of social media and modernity and all of that. However, we still find that these cases, are not dealt with as much as we expect them to be dealt with. For example, I don't know if it was talked about before I came, the thing that happened in Delta States just a few days ago. Like, it's literally just a few days ago, and it makes no bloody sense. Whether or not it's their tradition, of which tradition is man-made, whether or not it's their tradition, it doesn't make it any less dehumanizing. It doesn't make it any less more of a depravity, So I think the bottom line really should be that there should be consequences for actions, not even the fact that conversations should happen, should result from these acts. It's literally the fact that there are no consequences for actions. If there were consequences for actions, we will have less of these things happening. That's my stance. That's what I think.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if any person wants to jump on here before I move on to another piece.
Yes, please.
Okay, Oriade.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah. So, I mean, I read the play a few days before now, and still, it still left that taste in my mouth. You know, that taste of there's something more I would have loved to take away from this meal that I just had. You know, and of course, this is how life is. It is true to life. This play is it's so realistic that I find it a bit, I find it somehow, because now it's making me question my expectation or assumption of theater. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So I believe that if I go to the theater to go and deal with my trauma, you go to the theater to resolve certain things in life. So there's this wicked stepmother who has been so bad, and then she gives birth to, the child that was abused now become a great child in future, and the child chooses to forgive the stepmother or decides to punish the stepmother. I've taken something out of that space. But this story sounds like, so that stepmother was wicked, which is realistic. And that child also went on to become something big in life, but they never got in touch with each other again. Everybody went their different ways. That is very ultra realistic. But in theater, being a space of therapy, I would like something to just, that thing that takes us to, that cathartic, expectation. We go through it and it's been resolved in our heads. Like Tosin, who mentioned it earlier on, said, I thought when I started reading the play, I already assumed in my preconceived idea of what I'm going to get away from the meal. Okay, those two guys are now going to meet and fall in love later on in life. That's the undying power of eternal love. They met some years later and fall in love, and everybody goes home happy. All of a sudden, like you said, that life happened to them in their different ways, and then they came together again, and we thought that something would balm all that life has done to them, that love that we rekindled, and that also did not happen. And then that woman loses that child. She also loses a friend. So many things happening, and the rapist guy, of course, like true to African society, say, oti basun. It's no longer rape, oti basun, oti donyu. Omo to basun join, oti donyu. And then it is resolved by, okay, ma agba onyu, and the guy is a great guy. No punishment for that, for the act, the barbaric act that was carried out. And in fact, that guy becomes celebrated, and then and then they give birth to a child, and the guy is living his life, and that child is where the child is, and it is so realistic. So it jarred a bit my therapeutic expectation of the theater. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oriade. I would quickly like to go to another theme that was explored in the play, which is that of the ambition and determination. And to illustrate this, I'd like to quickly read the Act 1, Scene 3, that of the narrator, and then we can jump into discussion. The narrator says, "Time flies by like the fleeting passing of cloud on a bright day. Time flows by. Lethabo, totally focused, excelled, and begins to climb the social and professional ladder. One day, as she passes by a big, really big government office, she sees the elites, high society ladies and quality gentlemen, all turned out in black ties and cute black dresses, on a balcony, and said to herself, almost like a vow, intense, determined, even, one day I will work in this place and I will stand on that balcony dressed just like men, just like them. One day I will work in this place." Remember I said that, I could relate this to a classmate of mine when we were in secondary school. She got pregnant a while in Form 3, and then that marked the end of her education, blah, 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 blah. But in this case, this is somebody who has been scared, but still determined to succeed in life despite all of that. And she attained this. I want us to quickly relate this to some of what is happening today in the society. Some people, they don't have to go to school, but because they are very ambitious, they want to attain the height in the society, they do all sorts of things to attain that height. But in this case, she worked very hard. She finished education and then she climbed, the career ladder. Can we relate to this, especially in the age of TikTok and in the age of social media, in the age of get rich quick? Can somebody relate to this for me when it comes to female and climbing the ladder, whether female or male? I want somebody to relate to the issue of ambition here. Otherwise, I'll have to stampede. I want somebody who hasn't said anything to relate to this experience. Ayodele. I believe Ayodele is still in the... Ayodele. Sorry, Ayodeji. Sorry.
Yes. And since we started, publisher Tony Akinsho has joined us. Okay. He also has a thing or two to say.
Okay. So, publisher, I can't see his name here, but I can see Ayodeji. Hello? Ayodeji.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Ayodeji Adejuma. I'm an actor, a writer, and also a filmmaker. So I've read the piece, and I really resonate with it in so many ways. And in relation to your question about ambition and determination, so I'm going to marry it with my own personal self. And also my younger brother. So I happen to be someone who, I'm a very determined person. And growing up, I just believe that education is the key. And without education, you are not going to, make anything meaningful out of your life. However, my younger brother, who I'm actually older than by, let's say, 7 years, tried also to gain admission into university and stuff like that. But unfortunately, he couldn't just, get in. But I was determined to go to school, get a degree, start working and everything. Of course, it started working for me. I was able to achieve my goals. At the same time, his own determination was to just focus on doing business and just say, you know what, F it with school. I'm also going to be somebody in this life. So, fast forward to say a few years later, um, I resigned from, let me say I was laid off from my 9 to 5, and I started having issues, you know. And while he started doing, IT business, doing laptop and stuff like that, to tell you today that that boy has almost finished his own house, and he's got 2 cars. He's doing very well. And so it's not like I'm not doing well too, but compared to where I was coming from, thinking that okay, yeah, education is this and that. So that's to just let us know that if you have education, fine. If you don't have education, that does not mean you cannot make something meaningful out of your life. So that is what I can relate to this particular Lethabo, that even though she experienced what she experienced, she was very determined. She was very focused on saying, okay, you know what, I'm not going to let my situation define who I become later in future. And compared to Amandla, Mandla for me, I feel is very weak, and I feel he could have done more. And I feel he also he allowed his sickness, his situation to actually define him.
Okay. Thank you,
So,
Ayodeji.
no,
Thank you for that
yeah.
analysis. You know, and
No,
that's how.
before he had cancer, he had some issues and stuff like that. He's
All
sick.
right.
Now,
I
when
like
it comes
I
to
like us to look at that.
when a teenager
All right.
is raped,
Okay.
the mental state is enough for her to say, you know what, I'm not even going to do anything. But she picked herself up. She said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. We are not the same.
All
Yeah,
right. No, Francis.
that's my own
Francis.
view about it.
Deji. Ayodeji. Thank you. I'm sure Francis would like to hear your views, please. Francis.
Okay. Yes. I'm on now.
Thank you. Do you
So do
agree
you want me to?
Do you agree with Ayodeji that Mandla should have done more
Am I
instead
on
of
now?
resigning
Yes,
to
you are
faith?
on.
But the
Instead of
moderator is
resigning
still
to faith.
Come
Francis,
again.
Francis, I said, do you agree with Ayodeji that Mandla should have done more instead of resigning to faith and be a beneficiary of the state?
Okay, no, I don't agree with him, and I'll tell you why. True, I have not read the text, but I have a very fair knowledge of the beautiful story as told by Bimbo Manuel. Adilado. So there are so many speaking points. We can deal with this story from focus and determination, from societal responsibilities, from different aspects. But what I was just reacting to impulsively was that, look, you cannot tell how important health is until you are unwell. We take it for granted. But once you have been incapacitated by health, so it's on the strength of that I do not agree. I may have missed some things by
All
not
right.
reading the text to be able to determine whether indeed the guy was weak in his mindset and focus. But straight from what I can get from the story, it was just fatality.
Let me buttress that. Let me buttress that with some few lines from the play itself. After reconnecting with Lethabo, a dialogue ensued between both of them, I think in Act 4 or so, where Lethabo says, "Goodness, what happened?" Mandla answers, "Let's just say I'm lucky to be alive, or maybe I'm unlucky to still be alive." Then Lethabo asked, "Your work? Who would hire an invalid like me?" "Happy. I just get on by government support. It is good to see you again, Lethabo. I am happy." So you are right, Francis. Mandla didn't want to resign to faith, but he had no choice but to depend on government support. Even at that, we have people who who are afflicted by one disease or the other or whatever, and they just completely become beggars, completely. They don't want to do anything. They wait on people to help them. They don't want to think, they don't want to reason, they depend on handouts. But in the
moderator,
yeah,
if I may say, that publisher here, Tony Akensho, likes to speak, likes to talk, likes to discuss literature.
I'm coming to him.
Wait, hold on a second.
Go on.
At some point, he had challenge with his voice. He could not operate. He could not even go out. He could not read. He could not attend to anything. He was so incapacitated. He can't even say hello to you. That's just a voice chord challenge, which does not necessarily trouble anyone's life in that sense. You can now imagine if it's cancer that brings you down. But okay, so we have dealt with that. Somebody else can say, let's juxtapose that with the concerns and challenges of a woman who is raped. Look, rape, the way it is in Europe and America, is very different from how it is in Africa and most other countries, particularly South Africa, Nigeria, and the rest of the places. Because I think it's very difficult to prove rape, but most people have also been known for the rape. No, they trouble anybody. They've raped so many people. I'm not saying people ought to be raped or people. No. But it cannot in any way be compared with the challenge that Mandla, no. Oh, the concerns and challenges on Shegbe. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I also want to quickly call on a guest in our midst here who is just listening in, a South African actually, in Tambling Singh. Sorry if I murder your name. I would like for you to, first of all, are you with us in Tabiseng? Please, can you unmute yourself and let us know whether you are still listening or whether you're still with us? We want to maybe learn from you the South African experience and their take on rape and how rampant this is, and what is the cultural relevance. In Tamblings, I'll just call you in Tang. Are you there with us? Okay, we'll carry on. Let's assume that he or she is just listening. He's a guest of Professor Kole Odutola, who I see has his hands up. Professor Kole, do you want to say something on that?
Well, I was going to give the floor to Bimbo Manuel because he raised his hand before me. But
okay.
If you as a moderator say that
I'm moderating, I want you to say something before I come to.
Very good. I mean, who am I to refuse now?
I have the mic. Go on.
All right. What I was going to say is that I know that every play, the place of a play is as important as what goes on in the play. And one of the things that Bimbo has done is to choose a country that can bear this play. And if there's anything I have discussed, it is the presence of state in the lives of citizens in South Africa. Let me give you a very small story of I learned it that house helps in South Africa are allowed to go on vacation, and that at the end of their service, if they've served for a number of years, the state allows them to get a pension. We're talking of Omodo. We're talking of maids that the state has allowed to live a decent life. Now, instead of, some of them will remain with the family they came to serve in the city instead of go back. So I'm looking at this issue of state support. You know, not even in America here do we have the kind of robust state support when it comes to healthcare. Or you want to consider Canada. People just walk in London, you have NHS. But I think it was one of the prime ministers that said, if you are sick in London, they will take your temperature. If you're sick in America, they will take your credit card.
Yeah.
You know, this situation of state support, the welfare state is one of the characters in this play that the writer has not made so much fuss about, that can allow Mandla to live. So it's that state support that I see that it's a commentary. Now, unfortunately, there is no character that can bring the kind of state support others have or do not have, which would have also, you know, the analysis and the kind of thing Oriade was looking for in terms of either a discussion or something that will let you know that the state and the support it gives to citizens is very prime. When you are sick, Obama would always say that in America, when you are sick, you are just between your sickness and the salary you earn. Before you know it, you're on the streets because you can't afford to pay it. Right? So the state support is one thing that he has brought in. Now, the second thing I want to say, and I will close it very quickly, is that I would urge the writer to please do something about the rapist. Whatever can be done to punish, because at this time in Delta State, ongoing is what they call the rape festival, that the state has had to step in to stop it. But they say it is a festival that has been happening, that men can rape women. And finally, I know that the writer is very pro most of his plays. He tends to give precedence to women, right? And in terms of balance, you know, why is the man bearing so much and the lady, in terms of benefits of life, comes out better than the male?
Okay, so I would leave the writer to answer that, while I'm also going to ask him to just quickly contribute, because I see that he has his hands up, as well as Leke. So quickly, Bimbo Manuel, you know, first of all, your contribution, and then I'm sure you're also taking in the comments of Kole Odutola, because this is a work in progress to incorporate. So quickly, if you have something to say at this juncture. The floor is yours, bros. Bimbo Manuel.
Okay. I muted myself now. Before I respond to your statement and question, the publisher, Tonya Akosho, would like to say something so that I can take it all together.
All right, fine. I'm coming to him. Fine. Leke, if you don't have more, I don't know if because you have your hands up, or is it from earlier?
No. Why are you people moderating the moderator?
Exactly. So if you don't have your hands up, I want publisher. Hello. Sorry, I want publisher to before publisher can come in. Publisher, I don't know if you've read the play. Sorry, do we have one house? It seems there's another moderator there on ground.
Yes, it's Bimbo that's moderating you.
We have divided attention then. No. I have another question. Hello, publisher.
No, you are the moderator, sir.
Is publisher there? Ogatoin.
No, you are the moderator, sir. It's
okay. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
It's because I whispered into his ears about some concern I have about how.
All right, fine. I know you have read. I don't know if you have read the play.
No, I haven't read it in detail. But what I've read, I have a problem with the structure, and the reason why I thought we were here was not that we were sociologists or we're a bunch of either thespians, you guys, and some characters who call themselves critics or observers. You know, they are not. We're not. This is not a political framework. I mean, it is whether the play will work at the level of, you know, exhibition. I mean, when it's exhibited, that's what we did with the first. I mean, with Bimbo's play when we gathered here. That's what I was hoping. I am seeing that this thing. I mean, and it's not about just this forum. I'm seeing that this thing is happening everywhere. A group of artists are supposed to be talking about gender, right? And their role, in my view, is how they portray their scripts and their saying the whole gender relation thing. But they basically talk about whether APC should have more. I don't know whether, so that's my own intervention. I don't have much, but I see something like, okay, somebody is on a love seat with the other person, is damaged physically because of some accident. The other lady, is trying to pacify him. Something happens, I mean, in terms of chronology, supposedly to the lady at the age of 13, right? But the way it is written, this thing actually happens much after she's grown very well. But because we don't even get to see, and we don't necessarily have to see the action. But the way it is constructed does not give me confidence about, as to when it happened or didn't happen. And so one can, exactly. So when people are talking about something happening to you when you're a teenager, this person has actually gone to a point where she has, the playwright says something like she's progressed in life. That thing happened after that progress in life. You couldn't have progressed in life when you're 13. And as of that time, this hadn't happened. So these are some of the challenges that I have with the structure of the play. And I thought that that's what we came for. And that, people who know better than myself can talk more about it. But we're all now talking about rape in society. Okay. No, we already have the agency as artists that were the ones who present these things. What we're coming here to discuss is how we portray it. That's my understanding.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, to be honest, Leke started with that, and Leke observed. Francis, I'll yield the ground for you. I'll yield the ground. Just give me a second. Leke actually started by saying, the narrator, because one of the things I read and I was going to bring to everybody's notice is that the play could as well do away with the narrator, and the play would still make a lot of sense.
No wonder.
For me, I feel it's an obstruction, to the flow of the play. Francis, can you mute yourself, Francis? If you can mute yourself before, yeah. So in terms of structure, in terms of the play going back and forth as well, I also have an issue with that. But I also believe that when it comes to technicality, I'm trying to answer publisher's question. That is where you have the director there, and his directorial vision will carry through. The writer has written the play the way he has conceived it. It is now left to the director to interpret it, to bring it to life. So all the lapses you are talking about will be taken care at that junction. So Francis, so if you can unmute yourself and contribute here. Can you unmute yourself?
I don't get mute since now.
I said unmute and contribute. Unmute and contribute.
All right, thank you, moderator. So I was saying, and that's if you are responding to Tonya Kosho's comment about structure. In my view, structure does not have anything to do with the director yet. When you are talking about structure of a play, you are dealing with that play, first of all. Yeah. And there are key areas you look out for structure. From my experience of reading, writing, and judging plays, if you pick 5, once you dissect it, that it has, say, 3 act structure, take it from that perspective. When a play has, when you talk about the exposition, which will then mean the introduction of the play, you will have to check for rising action. What are the complications? And I can tell you, if I have long time, I can tell you where all of these things fall in place. You can tell about rising actions, and that's talking about where the writer has been able to talk about the complications of the play, and then maybe the climax, which can now help serve as the turning point, and then, following action, of course, and then the resolution. Once this, and there are more, but once these key things, you can search it out in a play, it has fulfilled what structure is meant to present. In my view, from the story told, I can pick the different areas, and so it does not fail in terms of structure.
All right, Francis.
But
I think what publisher was talking.
I'm saying this based on oral presentation.
All right, I think what publisher was talking about is not so much as structure of the play, because, like I said, the writer has written the play. What he's talking about, wait, sir. What he's talking about is the stageability. Whether certain things in the play will work when you present it to the public, is what he said. He's there, Ogatoyin, I'm sure. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And that's why I said that this will now fall on the director. This will now fall on the director to interpret the script, and bring it to life. If the writer has written that a plane is flying across and they're dropping bomb and all that, it is left to the director to interpret that and bring it to bear. In terms of the structure, I think the play is well written, is well structured, even going back and forth. The only thing I see here is that the function of the narrator is what I question, even though Leke said, it is very seamless. I see it as an obstruction in the flow of the play, because without the narrator, I think the play will still carry on. That is in my own opinion. I want to yield the ground to somebody else now, Leke, or do we still have the South African in our midst? I don't know. Kole, is it possible for you to see if your friend is still with us? Because it would be nice for us to hear from him.
Yeah, no, it's a she. I'm still in the audience and I'm listening very attentively. But some of my comments I'm sending to Professor Odutola. I haven't read the script. He shared it because I asked for it, and after I've read through it, I can quickly send some comments to him. I'll try and make sure that they're very useful for everyone. But let me not speak out of turn because of the limitation of not having read it before.
All right, can we stampede you then? I mean, stampede means, just to ask you to contribute so that we can all share in all of this, particularly within the context of the play. We talked about the issue of rape, the issue of love, and because the play is situated in South Africa. Can you throw, some light into this? Maybe that would also help us to understand better in that society, how is the issue of rape, accepted or rejected? How do people react to it? Is it still a family taboo and all of that? Because we have, in terms of Nigerian culture, some of this is considered as, as a taboo. What is it like in South Africa and the culture there?
I wouldn't say it's taboo, because if you recall, maybe you were not watching, but over the November period, when the South African presidency of the G20 was coming to an end, there was a large group of women. In fact, there was a national march of women who said violence against women, it's a national crisis and the president has to do something about it. And he was very open open to the idea of accepting that it's actually a disaster. So it requires a specific allocation of resources for the state to be able to deal with. But then the voice of women, I think, is being elevated so that they can, propose solutions to the problems that confront them. So I wouldn't say it's taboo when it has been declared a national crisis like that. It is a matter that actually must be prioritized above all. because it also goes to the social discrimination, or it could lead to women being denied opportunities that the character in this play is purported to have achieved. So it is not taboo at all.
Okay.
And in fact, parents that will try and conceal the information from the state in the protection of the perpetrators would also be considered as accomplices. Obviously, perhaps there would be, I mean, rape happens in many forms. When it happens in a family, and in that case it's incest, and some families actually would try and conceal it, but still they would have committed serious crimes against the state, because the state becomes the first defendant in these kind of matters. So I will give more comments to Kole.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
thank you very
thank you
much.
for sharing that. I see Tosin has her hand up, maybe to also back the lady, the second or the other lady in the group. Tosin, I will yield the floor to you now, before we go any further. Tosin.
No, it's been resolved. Somebody wanted to speak, so that's why I put my hand up.
Okay. Now, in terms of stageability, right?
Hello. I
Yes.
thought I was called.
Yeah, Tosin, yeah. I thought you said something already.
Tosin to me. I realized there are two Tosins. This is
Oh,
Tosin to me.
okay. All right. Okay, Tosin Tume, please carry on.
Yes, thank you very much. I think the publisher and who was it now? Spoke my mind about the structure of the play.
Okay, Frank.
Yeah, it's a simple love story. Maybe too simple. I feel the conflict should be tightened up. It's right now it's still all over the place. I don't know what to focus on. Is it the rape or the cancer or the love interest? Like, it's not clear to me what the key actors want. Okay, maybe Mandla wants to leave. Huh? But I don't know what Lethabo wants. Does she want to get back together with Mandla? Or is she just doing this for old time's sake? And what exactly does Mandla's mom want? She says to Lethabo, help my son. Like, in what sense? Lethabo isn't a nurse, neither is she a doctor. Does she want a child? Maybe a grandchild? Something. I think the playwrights can further elaborate on some of these things to make them clear and give the conflict more solidification. Then the ending, no hope. There is no hope at all. It leaves me feeling dissatisfied. Yeah. Sorry, I may be rambling. I just had a quick read of it. So this is what I got from what I read.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Fantastic. Again, let me bring in the playwright here. So many questions have been tossed up, and maybe not to defend, the play, or because it's a work in progress. I consider this a work in progress, and that's why you brought it, here for us to discuss. In terms of some of the questions raised, that for me it's an open-ended play, but I don't know what you would say here. I'd like to bring in Bimbo Manuel here to maybe say one or two things at this juncture.
Okay, I yield to the second Tosi. She has something to say before I take everything.
I can't let you yield to the second Tosin because I can't see a hand up. At the same time, I've just called on you to say something. Then later I can bring in second Tosin. So, Bimbo Manuel, the floor is yours. Then later, I would entertain Tosin. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So, first off, let me say a very big thank you to everybody. Primarily because I think in this conversation, as with other times, the previous two we had, 2 years, we're meeting the purpose of the sit out, which is to critically look at works and be able to, by our suggestions, make them better. That's why we have not taken any published work, because those are more difficult to go back to, especially when they're not due for review, like a second edition. We have not. That's why we have not touched those things. Everything we have done so far are new projects that can still be made better. So thank you, everybody. I'll take the ending first. Some people here in our gathering know that I have a deliberate penchant for not closing stories. Because for me, life is a continuum. And one particular incident, which our stories usually focus on, not the entire life of a character, usually. From the point where that situation or event ends, life continues. So I find it sometimes a bit odd that we seem to be closing lives when it is not an Odewale story that would, by compulsion, end. His life has to end, and stories like that. But when it is a situation instead of character, I think we should, my conviction is that we should leave life to continue as a continuum. They're going to go into something else. We may be writing something else about them tomorrow, picking up from where life has situated them. I have this in, which one was that you grumbled about? The call? The prostitute. Philomena, interview with a prostitute. Yes. We just left her hanging. She doesn't marry either of the two guys because her life after that continues. It is just, the entire play is one day. In fact, one evening. What happens the following day? Life continues for her. And we're left with a conversation, if you like. And I like to have conversations after the audience has seen whatever I want to present. Because without the conversation, what we're left with, for me, is it was nice. And we all go to the next bottle of beer. Nothing that people are displeased with or expected, and therefore they can pick up in private conversations after the job. I quite enjoy that. I enjoy the disagreements. I enjoy the extension of the story in people's imagination. So that's the reason for that kind of ending. It is not pessimism. It is not intended to be despondent. Because I also don't believe that we have a moral calling, so to speak, to terminate everything in happy ending. I think that would be a bit too traditional drama. It's the expected. So we end it, we start it, but everybody knows it will end somehow. So that is that. The structure the structure issue that have been raised by 3 people now. Yes. I think I'm quite open to go back and interrogate the script again, which is the essence of this sit-out in the first place. But maybe I positioned some of the characters, like the narrator, for instance, wrongly. I'm willing to go back and look at that, take another look at that. But what I was looking for is not a linear travel from the beginning of the script to the end of it. We can chronologically say, oh, this happened, and therefore this will follow, and all that. So I go back, I go forward, I stop in the middle sometimes, and I keep, but so far, I think that order of movement is steady and can be discerned. So maybe what I did was a bit too complex for ease of reading and understanding, which would again translate to misunderstanding with the audience if there is no clarity. So I'm willing to admit that, but I was careful to do my transitions in ways that if we pay attention, we can actually see how one situation terminates or sustains and translates into a continuation, maybe 3 scenes down the line, like that, you know. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would like for the first Tosin, who is not Tosin Tume, to please.
Can I speak now, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so I wanted to say that in reading the story, like I agree with some of the things that you know, some people said earlier. There was one thing in particular I read. It was the part where I think after there was the scene of her seeing the elites. I think then there was something that was written about Mandla where it was said that, oh, he looked good. Yes, there was something like that written about Mandla, that he looked good or something. And that was right before what's her name?
Lethabo.
That was before Lethabo saw him. So I was taken aback a little when I now saw that, oh, she was like, oh, why, maybe something like, why does he look the way he looks? And then he was like, maybe he had an accident or something. So I think that there must have been maybe an error there, because it was said just not long before then that he didn't look too bad himself. So how did he not look too bad? And then, you know, yes. So also regarding the end, I initially, you know, was thinking the same thing. Okay, why exactly is Mandla's mother saying, oh, you know, help my son and all that? But the way the end went, I think it also could be explained that she was literally just saying, just, you know, at least make him happy, even if he's gonna die. That's the help that you should, you know, give him. Because sometimes, for example, the mother was the only person that was with him throughout this entire journey. So it's okay for even when she's comforting him, it's okay for him not to feel comfort. You know, sometimes you just feel weighted down, you know, with the entire comfort. But when a stranger comes and does the same thing, you feel a lot better, you know. So I feel like that's probably the help that she was asking, you know. Why do I keep forgetting her name? I keep thinking Lesotho.
Lethabo.
Yes, that's the help I think she was asking Lethabo for. Also, I think that the play should be longer. I think the play should be longer. And I think it should be a musical. Uncle B, you're not listening to me. I think the play should be longer, and I think it should be a musical. I think it would actually really work as a musical. I'm not joking. When I was reading it, I was seeing Kakadu the musical. I don't know if you watched or read Kakadu the musical. It just, the pictures. I should stop talking.
No. I just wanted you to round off because we have less than
Okay, sorry.
40 minutes
Sorry.
before
Okay.
the close of day.
Okay, I'm done. I'm not
Okay.
done, but okay.
Okay. I'm going to
All right.
before I allow any other
Moderator,
person to speak. Sorry, sir. Before I allow any other person to speak, please. I want us to
moderator, it looks like you don't look at hands being raised.
Sorry, Francis, I saw your hand. I'm going to come to that. Just excuse me. I was going to call you next. Can you hear me, Francis? I can hear you. Francis, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay.
All right. No. But I've not called you. I said I will call you. I just want to prepare us because I want us to enjoy the play itself so that we're going to have a short reading of the play, just to prepare us. So, and therefore, I'm going to stampede some people to read. So prepare yourself. Tosin that has just finished speaking, you're going to read a part of Lethabo, and Francis, that is going to speak now, will read the part of Mandla, but it's not going to be immediate. As much as Francis is going to speak now, I want us to consider the theme of love, even though publisher has said that's not why we're here. But I think that's one of the reasons why we're here, to properly dissect the play. The theme of love, mother love now, between Lethabo and the mother. Do you think she did it out of spite, for Lethabo to have the child and still carry on with her education? And then the theme of love between Mandla and his mom, taking care of the son until his final day. I want us to, look at that later on after I allow Francis to quickly, make his contribution. So, Oga Francis, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to be very brief. Going back to structure so that if it helps the writer in any way, I think many people have made contributions towards making it a full-length play. I mean, sometimes I even wonder why people go through the trouble of writing short plays. Do you want them to be published or do you want them to be performed? So that's important. And then, except the writer intends to create new model of writing, you must have an end to a play. And that's why there is resolution in structure. It's like a football game. The pre-analysis, the opening of the match, the middle, it has an end. So its life in itself begins and ends. And so we are able to say, discuss this person's life from beginning to the end. I do not know this new form of, the author was speaking big grammar.
Open-ended.
Trying to convince us with big words of endless life, all those big words.
All right, Francis.
Yes.
Can I counter that? I believe the author actually brought a play to a close. Let me explain, please. You see that this is why I said in my comment on the group that sometimes, you can't fight fate. And the author actually resolved this in the end. For me, there is a closure, there's a resolution, just like in terms of structure now, conflict, and then the resolution, in the sense that Mandla died. He succumbed to cancer in the end. And therefore, life continues for Lethabo and the mother. And that is the open-ended there. But there is a closure. No, sir. There is a closure. For me, that's the way I see. There's a closure in the plot of the play. I can't hear you, Francis. There is a closure in the plot of the play. That is my own understanding of it. Let me quickly bring in another person. I think
because you're unconsciously waiting for it. How is this world, how is it going to be resolved? I would say, maybe something about the rape case, maybe something that will resolve it for you.
And by the way, let me say this.
Yes.
Before I forget, I think your sense of moderation is absolutely brilliant, Dr. Sanusi, very much. Because I listened to what you said earlier. It doesn't matter that I'm not going to read, I'm not going to participate in the reading, but I know you have talked of some talking point, love from different aspects, from this aspect. I think that's brilliant. Continue in this your spirit of moderation. Well done.
Okay, but Francis, you can't. Okay, fine. I will let you off the hook. Don't read. But let us look at resolution. I'm serious now. Let us look at resolution. I believe that the play has a beginning, then you have a conflict, and you have a resolution. Now, when it comes to the issue of rape, which we have pointed out to the writer that maybe he should do something about, not letting it, lie low or sweep it under the carpet. Something should be done, and perhaps maybe when he is, is making the play longer, perhaps we will see, I mean, Mandla is dead. Maybe he may want to continue the play and then treat the issue of the rapist and the child growing up and all of that. That's down to him. But in terms of the plot presented to us, I see a beginning, I see the conflict, even though it is not, very conflictual, as they say. And then we saw the resolution because at the end of the day, what's his name, succumbed to fate and died. That is for me. Now, let us quickly treat the issue of love that I identify here. Love between mothers and their child. Amandla and the mother, Lethabo and the mother. Did you think Lethabo's mother did it out of spite or to teach her a lesson? Wouldn't you consider that as a form of, an act of love as well? So at this juncture, I like Professor Kole to quickly come in, or I bring in the publisher here. Whoever wants to take it between the two of them.
Hello.
Go on.
Publisher has left.
Now
The stampede this afternoon. Publisher has left.
Okay.
No, I'm here speaking. I'm speaking in the car.
Okay.
Hello. I'm speaking in the car.
Speak on, sir.
Now, I just think that I agree with you that we can attempt to stretch this thing, but as it is, it doesn't throw up these opportunities for us to stretch it. I mean, there's a love. I mean, the mother, Amanda's mother basically is carrying and all that. Maybe it's because I didn't read the play properly, so I can't get. We're going to Freedom Park. So Eco Bank case. Maybe because I didn't read the play properly, I didn't see the so-called Lethambo's mom, in this play. But my own issue is that the whole idea of his sickness is not even properly, explained. You are saying cancer. The man says he had an accident, that he wasn't into drugs, that something happened, we don't also know that, So what the dramatist is telling us is that if we expand our imagination, we should know that he's signaling a sickness and that it could be debilitating. So we should just agree that this is someone who is sick. So let's get back to the theme of love that you want us to stretch. I just see some, in my view, here. What do you expect? There has to be something. I mean, the woman, naturally will take care of her son now. It's not to me anything that is such a big deal, really. And if genuinely a 13-year-old girl brings a child to the house, there will be, I mean, unless, but I'm not I'm trying to run away from the sociology of this and address the way the play, I mean, is laid out. And that's why I'm struggling with even this
Okay.
explanation
Okay.
that I'm
Thank you
trying
so
to
much. But you see,
I don't know whether I've made sense,
you made
but
sense. You made sense. But you see, I'm trying to bring you back to when it comes to literary analysis, because you can't
yeah,
also take away from the structure when you're
yeah,
talking when there is a disconnect between what is treated in the play and the structure that you made mention, which
yes.
Francis has also identified as beginning, a conflict and then resolution, which I explain the play has got all this structure as far as I'm concerned. But then again, let us look at, and some people here have said that, look, I have challenge with, with this. For instance, why did you allow the rapists to go unpunished? For instance, for me, I also identify the issue of the narrator, which Leke has described as very seamless, and I
No, I
see
mean, the
him
narrator
as being
tells us
very
that,
intrusive.
I mean, of
Okay.
course, I mean, in life, sometimes those people get away. In my own experience, if we're talking about, and I've said it somewhere, I've said this somewhere, and people thought that it was a political statement to make. I mean, a sensible statement to make.
Yeah.
When I was better, you know, I mean, 16-year-old boys, there's a term that we called it in thematic. I mean, they go in on rounds on a girl 15 or 14 or say 16, when they think that she just happens to be that sort of ras girl.
Yeah.
And they won't attempt to do that to any girl that, I mean, would look up to them and say, what is wrong with you? Are
Yeah.
you mad? That
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have seen those ladies go on to do big things in life. You understand? So, I mean, when people begin to say that, somebody is feeling somehow that it happened, I mean, that's the real challenge that I have with um, the many lives of Babaseki's wives.
Mm.
The ladies that I knew when I was a ras boingo, a Temeta boy, I mean, they will take those things and they won't look like, and everybody around was, I mean, there was a time that some of these boys wanted to do it to a supposedly hoity-toity new girlfriend that I had, and I fought
Mm.
back. But some guys don't fight back, and we
Yeah.
just assumed that it was normal in those days. Nowadays, I now read that all of those things were, but these were young people who are doing all those kinds of things to themselves. So I really, but
Okay.
what I would like to do with that part is a playbook from Tunde Kelani's the part that there's a place where the script the author says that, I mean, the script says that she looks up at the balcony and there were nice high
Yeah.
quality people
Yeah.
and she would like to
Yeah.
be like that. So
Yeah.
let me borrow a playbook. I mean, let me borrow to Tunde Kelani's one of his very short films where this guy from from the urban center comes into the village, and this girl that was supposed to be a virgin was supposed to
Yeah.
to be waiting to get married. I mean, he sweeps her off her feet, and before you know it, he had deflowered her.
You flower the girl.
I mean, maybe that's what happened. Maybe it is the same people on those balcony who did something to this, because she's already seen them as people who she was looking for up to, and these were people who then took
Okay.
advantage of her.
I
Maybe
think
that's one
I
way
think
of.
I'll have to stop the publisher here, because I
Okay.
think we got the gist of your discussion here. Now
All
let us,
right.
as much as we've done a lot of in quote bashing to the play in terms of our views, let us also look at what is good about this play. What quality has Bimbo Manuel got as a playwright? Some that you've seen, some of us here have been able to, be part of his earlier readings. I was part of Alaji, and then there's also this, the prostitute and all of that. Thank God Dr. BC Adigun has joined us all the way from US, and he's trying to mirror me. He knows that I have a drum behind me, so he sat, behind in front of his own drum. So I mean, let us start drumming. What good quality can you see in Bimbo Manuel's plays, the ones you've been privileged to witness? So I'm stamping you because I know you've just joined us. So if you just quickly contribute at this juncture, Bimbo Manuel as a playwright, what qualities
Oh,
have you seen in his play that you say, oh, this is good, and then I like to throw it up?
oh, that's a very good, that's a very interesting question. Sorry, I just saw just realized I could join. I think I was privileged to direct one, and I've read a couple,
Okay.
and I saw Alaji, which I also reviewed for book history and also. I think personally, I think what I love about his play as a playwright is the fact that he's very lyrical. You know, I love the lyricism of his play. You know what I mean? But most importantly, I think it does what a good playwright should do, to shine light on things that the society tends to ignore or disregard, particularly allergy, the idea of impotence and erectile dysfunction. You know what I mean? I found that very interesting because it's a particular issue that a lot of men shy away from, you know. But for me, the power of theater is if you bring it to the fore, it forces you to talk about it and to address it. So for me, it dissects the problem for the society on stage. So I think the same thing with, I'm trying to remember, sorry, it's early
The new
morning
play?
here.
Is
So
it the new play now? The new
yeah,
play.
no,
Lethabo.
I didn't read the
Okay.
one you sent. I didn't read that.
Okay. All right,
But I
fine.
thought you were just asking me about this play
Yeah, yeah.
generally. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've said that because we have less than 15 minutes to go. I want
Oh,
Professor Kole Odutola to quickly talk about the good things in Lethabo, the play at hand, the play we're discussing. What are the
I,
good qualities you find? That is Kole now. I'm talking about Kole Odutola.
I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, just quickly, what are the good things you can say? Oh, yes, I've read this play. I like the way he weaves his dialogues and stuff. Please, can you just the good things now? Let's talk about that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lookman Sanusi. All the while you didn't call me, I was stuffing myself with food. So
I knew.
thank you. I thank you very much.
That was deliberate. That was deliberate.
I knew it. Okay, now quickly. And I want to address Francis, the question of the Western.
No, sir. I'll have to stop you there, sir. I want you to answer the question.
I
Don't
will
die.
answer it.
Yes.
It is because of what you said. I
Okay.
want to take Bimbo's side,
Okay.
and he did say it that he does not like to resolve his plays. And I was
Okay.
going to say that in narratology, the study of narration, one of the things that we privilege in class to the students is the binary opposite between the Western system of narration that always has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yes.
We put that side by side with the cyclical storytelling of the African. And Bimbo has done that so perfectly well that instead of a resolution, and I think also in the Brescian tradition, also in the popular theater tradition, you do not resolve a play. You let the audience carry on with the dialogue.
Yes.
You let the audience carry on with the conversation, and they agree and they disagree, and they all go home. But you have left something with them, unlike what I have been told about the Western system of storytelling, where everybody wants a resolution. But yes, even in the African one, we bring about a conflict, but we don't set a store at it that, okay, this is the tradition, this is a conflict, and this is resolution. Because most of us who have come to the theater to watch, we can relate to what is happening. These are not things that are plucked out. And like I said, if this play is going to be shown in Nigeria, for instance, it will be almost alien to hear things like state support, that the state is supporting you, because we don't have that. But if you go to South Africa,
or here in England,
there are two things that will work out. One is that everybody in the audience knows what state support is. What they might not agree with is the portrayal of rape. And you would notice that what he has done cleverly is not to show it, but to tell it. It is through some kind of flashback that he talks about that rape. And for me, I will keep on saying, if just a line to say that somebody threw a stone, that one day one small boy was playing in front of his house and he threw a stone and bah, it hit the head of a rapist. That is enough punishment for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I see that one Laolu has joined us because I'd like to draw as many of us into this conversation as possible, just like I stampeded Dr. Bisi Adigun. Laolu, I saw your video earlier. I don't know whether...
Sorry, doctor. He just wants to listen, please. Can you indulge
you just want to listen? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Because I've been, I'm a good student of Tony Akiosho and Jam, and I'm a stampeder. I like to stampede people.
I know.
They taught me that. Now, on a lighter mode, I know the playwright Bimbo has taken in all your notes, and I'm sure he's going to, use them the way he feels that can help the play. I also want us to bring out more of the good things in the play. But I wanted us to read. I don't know whether Tosin is ready. And if I can then stampede Shegun Adefila. I don't know if Shegun is still there. Tosin, are you there? Not Tosin Tume, the other Tosin. Is Tosin there?
Shegun has gone to disloyal Judas.
Okay, Judas. Okay, fine. Because I wanted us to enjoy the play itself. The essence of critiquing a play is to read the play and enjoy it. Is Tosin there?
Yes.
Yes, sir, I am.
Can Leke also join? Let us read the beginning of the play. Please, can we read the beginning of the play? Just at once in one. Hello?
Oh, you can read Mandela, and she reads.
Yes, let us enjoy it. If because I know we have about 10. Are we there?
Dr. Lookman.
Sir.
Still here.
No. It's just the scene one. Act 1, scene 1. Just the scene 1.
Act 1, scene 1. Okay.
That is all. That's all. Act 1, scene 1. And I will read the stage direction, please. Are you both ready? Because I'm going to start reading now. Act 1, scene 1. Lights. The stage is full of young people, all happily decked out in graduation gowns. They sing the school anthem. Jubilation as it ends, hearts in the air, a lot of hugging and laughter. In the rowdiness, a lone voice raises the South African anthem. Slowly, they all join the song, sober. The anthem gathering enthusiasm as they sing till a big crescendo. More jubilation. Schoolboy, we are done. Power in our hands. Amandla. Lethabo, about 18, reserved and graceful, beautifully dressed in a conservative pants, suit under her graduation gown, peels away from the crowd and crosses to a tall, handsome lad, Mandla, also about 18, who stands to one side, still in school uniform. He's not a part of the graduating students. Lethabo.
Mandla.
Leke.
Lethabo.
I think you have two. I think you have two devices on at the same time. It's echoing. I can't hear you properly.
This is reading.
No, I'm not reading. I said I can't hear you properly because you have two devices on. You are connected on two devices. So there's echo.
Oh, that's okay.
Shall we start again?
Okay, it's better.
Yeah, it's better now.
So let's start again. Lethabo.
Mandla. Mandla.
Okay, I'll just read. I'll just read. I'll read. Lethabo, I will miss you.
Okay. Thank you for everything, for being there when I stood alone. Thank you.
Now I am standing alone.
No, you're not.
You are leaving.
It is not the end. Fate will bring us back together again. Who knows?
I'm happy for you.
You are not happy.
Happiness is you, and you are leaving.
Does it mean that when my body leaves, my heart leaves as well?
You forget the cliche.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yes.
It is not any easier for me to Mandla. Apart from my family, you have been my surest support, my only true friend. Fate awaits us.
I can hug you.
That kiss you always wanted, you can kiss me today.
Right here?
I'm leaving anyway.
So let them talk. They both laugh, they kiss, the stage freezes, all the noise dies down as they all gaze at the pair. Then a loud rancor and ululation light out. See, this is what I mean by the beauty of Bimbo's, however simple.
That was a really good first act.
Please, can we give the writer a round of applause here? Abel, can we give him a round of applause here? Thank you. Now, we've got only about 5 minutes in case anybody wants to say anything or, yap or ask the author to buy them drinks. This is the juncture. Because
Sorry,
I'm sure some of us want to leave from here to
my hand up.
the other event. Okay, yes. BC, please, over to you, sir.
I'm telling Dr. Lookman, I'm terribly sorry. Honestly, I didn't know I would be able to join, so I never read the play at hand. Okay. But I promised Bimbo that I'm going to look at it. And I'm going to get back to him.
Sorry, you need to go back. Sorry, we missed we missed your beginnings.
Oh, sorry. What I'm saying is I never knew that the time would permit me to join you, right? So I just saw this invitation and I just joined. So I'm very happy that I joined. But what I'm saying is I didn't have time to read the play. I'll read it and I'll get back to you because I'm one of your biggest fans, Ogabimbo. All right, that's but look, man, it's good to see you and thank you.
It's good to see you too. It's good to see you. On a final note, do you have any closing remarks, Bimbo Manuel?
Yeah, I do, and maybe I do not, at the risk of repeating myself. But I'll just pick on something that I feel has become a strain in the conversation so far. People have talked about answering the question of what happened to the rapist and such things. You see, my answer to that is that in this piece, I did not set out to question morality or society and so on. I just wanted to tell a simple love story that is challenged by all kinds of situations around the characters. So rape happens, ambition interferes, accident happens, sickness happens, and all that. However, beginning to the end, their love sustains in spite of even the challenge of the difference in their social standing at the end. Maybe if time allows, they would have come together, even in spite of Mandela's sickness and accident and all that. If he did not have cancer, which is usually terminal, if that terminal sickness is not there, if he weren't interfering, maybe they would have come together. And that's actually the question at the end of the piece. The question of would they have come together, all things being equal. So bottom line is, I did not set out in writing this piece to address the social and moral question of rape, of state support, and such other things. No, I just wanted to tell a simple love story, and the rape, the determination to go past the limitation of the psychological limitation of rape and all that, and talk instead about the psychology, the emotional psychology of the people involved. Someone raised the question of the mother saying, help son, help my son. The woman knows far more than Lethabo knows about Mandela. She knows the sickness that he had, the accident he had that reduced him to vegetable, and all that. She was there all of that time for this kid, only child. Her attention was not divided, you know. She was there. And finally, she has someone that seems to have become a distraction for her son in those moments of distress. And she always knew how much Mandela loved Lethabo. So I think Tosin, younger Tosin now, that is here with us, understood it. It is about, as this guy goes into the last laps of her life, help me make it easier for him. Because Mama herself knows that Mandela is going. Make it easier for him. Give me some relief. She's the one that has been there for him all through all of this. It's like having a sick husband and someone comes in, just help me. It may not be defined in so many words, do this for me, do that for me. Just being present for people like that may be enough. And I think that is the context of that line that Mama said. So basically, and that's why I had thought of removing a simple love story as part of the title, but I think I would leave it because that is the key, the focus, the contest of love against all the vicissitudes of life. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very, very, very much, Bros Bimbo Manuel. I've enjoyed myself this afternoon because we had said we wouldn't go beyond 3:30, and because I'm in England here, I'm not allowed to go beyond 3:30. I'm not operating on Nigerian time, so we have to stick to the real time, which is the British time. Thank you all very much. And until the next time we meet, for those of you who are just joining us, we're supposed to have Bolanle Austin Peters, as our guest. But unfortunately, the king sent for her. So she's right here in London attending to the king and trying to make sure that things go very well with the arts. So we apologize, haven't advertised, Bolanle Austin Peters as our guest. I'm sure we'll communicate with all of us the next time we're going to meet, and we're going to properly have structure, the next time we talk about. Thank you very much. And until we meet again, adios. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Okay, we're going to end. You can hang around if you're not in a
BC,
hurry.
nice to see you again.